Hello and welcome to episode 65 of Speak Free with MattyG. Today we are joined by a very special guest of mine. We've got Hectic Fred in the studio. Mate, welcome to 27 Project. Welcome to the Speak Free.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's great to be here, bro.
So obviously today we're going to talk about obviously your journey with content creation and sort of the audience that you've built and the community you've built through, I guess, your passion for the doggies, your passion for league and sport in general. And we're also obviously going to talk about footy, and there's a few hot topics. Me as a Tigers fan, you as a Dogs fan. We're filming, for people that don't know, we're filming on the 7th of June. So this Monday, Galvin will play his first game for the Dogs. So I reckon we get straight into that topic. Let's get it out of the way.
Yeah, the elephant in the room, mate.
Yeah, it is the elephant in the room, and we'll bring that to attention straight away. But obviously, as a Tigers fan, right? It's hard for me to be happy with how everything played out, right? Because I just don't like messiness when it's a player leaving a club, all that shit. I just don't like how messy it became. In terms of Galvin leaving the club in general, I don't care. Whatever. Like any player can go. It's a business, right? If you think that's better for you, go. I just don't like that it's happened mid-season. It's disrupted our season. Just how it played out. It was just messy, you know. And both are to blame for that, by the way. I'm not saying Galvin's all to blame for that. I mean, his management's to blame, the club's to blame, you know. But how do you feel about Galvin coming to the Dogs? I know you're a fan of the move.
Yeah, just because I'm a fan of Lockie, bro. Like, I'm not a fan of how it all, you know, transpired, bro. Like, and I was very vocal in the sense that I felt like the reasoning that Lockie gave to the media about why he's leaving, I just didn't really buy it. I just felt like it was a bit of BS, because I felt like the players around him and the coaching staff, they sacrificed all to be able to help Lockie develop. So when he was talking about the Tigers not being good for his development, I didn't really get that. Maybe they were all trying too hard to sort of put him on a pedestal and allow him to shine. I don't really know. It just didn't make sense to me, and I just felt like, especially like guys like Jerome, like you got a 4-time premiership winner playing second fiddle to you. That just tells me the club sees you as the number one guy, as that guy to bring them from the rebuilding back into the 8, right? So I didn't really buy it, and I was a bit, you know, cut, because I know a lot of Tigers fans, and like I'm very close to a lot of them, and they were all gutted, bro, when they heard the news. You know what I mean? Because when Lockie broke out last year, he was like the next big thing for them. You know what I mean? The next Benji, in the sense that he's that beacon of hope that they can just give their heart and hope that doesn't get crushed, right? And it did get crushed. And I just want the Tigers to do really well, man. And so it's sort of looking at it from a neutral perspective, because I wasn't thinking about him potentially joining the Dogs when I was a bit vocal about him leaving. I was thinking of it as sort of putting myself in a Tigers fan shoe and how I would feel. And from the outside looking in as a neutral, I just felt that Lockie the Tigers were doing everything to prioritize Lockie's development. But now that he's gone, and seeing the decisions that he made, because a lot of happened after that. Like Taruva's money post it doesn't make sense now, because he knocked back a massive contract to go elsewhere to sign for less.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Tigers offered him a monster contract as well. So when I first saw that money post, look, I love Taruva.
I do too.
It's my dog. But you know, I thought it was a bit. Obviously, it was meant for as a joke, and some dickheads leaked it and whatever. But yeah, I just thought it was, you know, a bit tongue in cheek. But in terms of it actually being true, I never bought into that at all. You know, like I thought, if anything, he would sign. He's not trying to get more. He's not going to get any more than what Tigers have offered.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. That was never going to happen, right? Like, I don't think it was ever going to be a bidding war between Tigers and Parramatta if Tigers are going to put up 1.1 million or whatever the fuck they were going to put up for him. But I do, I do sort of, I guess, see where, you know, when people who then turned on sort of the Tigers at that time, I can see why they would turn on, you know, it did seem like a bit of a, you know, I guess, like a bad breakup with an ex, you know, getting a bit toxic towards the end.
Oh, big time. And look, he gave you guys plenty of notice. I think he's doing it mid-season, but mid-season of the season before his contract ends. Right?
Oh, 100%. And by the way, when I say mid-season, I meant like for it to all
impact this season.
Exactly, and play out the way it did. I'd rather him, if you want to make a decision at the end of the year, let's make it public end of the year, off season. You want an early release, that's fine. Go join doggies in the off season. Sweet. Everyone starts fresh next year,
Yeah, to be fair, but the NRL incentivizes this mid-season switch because they can start talking November 1st. You know
100%.
what I mean? And nobody actually wants to, like he sort of wanted to make it clear early on, and he's technically doing the right thing by letting the Tigers know, and then it just gets leaked to the media and leaked to everybody else. So that's where it starts to impact mid-season.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of it that happens behind closed doors and doesn't get leaked to the media, but once this story got out, once the media got a hold of this story, that was it. Because when you have a player like Lachlan Galvin that's very, very talented, very young, say what you want about everything else, but he's got bags and bags of talent for an 18, 19-year-old. And the media is going to, and anything related to the Tigers, the media is going to run with. They absolutely hate you guys.
Oh, fucking hope
Every
they do.
story that they can drop about the Tigers, they will, without hesitation.
Yeah.
Because they know, here we go again with
I know,
the Tigers.
they must just camp out fucking Concord with fucking mics and cameras just waiting, for another story, because I feel like there's a new one every day. Now, with, in terms of leaking that it was, I think the reason the club came out so strong with it to begin with, because they thought in a couple of days it's going to be leaked to the media anyway. Let's get ahead of it. Let's own it. And I think that's what they tried to do. But within that, I think it became a bit of a, there's a full fucking war going on here. It's like the club and everyone at the club versus Galvin. That's how it felt. As a fan looking in, I thought, fuck, there's got to be better ways to deal with this. And then they're doing press conferences and shit like that. And I'm thinking, fuck, maybe this will fucking spur him on. I don't know. And then we go out and get fucking flogged by Parramatta on Easter Monday. And it's like, fuck, man. Obviously it didn't fucking work out, the way, and that distraction has been clear as day since then.
Yeah.
We've had a couple wins, but I think those wins have been a bit of a fluke, to be honest. They haven't been convincing wins. We've got
magic round. That was a fluke.
100%. We fucking fell asleep and they almost got done. I was so nervous towards the end.
I was on the side where Sua dropped the ball.
Oh shit!
When I was watching, so that was hilarious, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was a crazy game. And the game before that was the one at Leichhardt where we won in by a penalty goal right at the end. Golden Point. Yeah, it went to Golden Point, didn't it? Yeah. And do we kick that? So look, I thought that was a great effort. Don't get me wrong, Sharks are an okay team. But I don't think we've seen sort of the Tigers back to the footy they were playing prior to all this Galvin shit yet. It's definitely hurt our season, 100%.
Yeah, and now it's potentially going to hurt the dog season, right? That's why everybody's annoyed because we're first, absolutely vibing right now. You know what I mean? I know we lost to the Dolphins last, but none of the Dogs fans really cared about it because we just had that many people out that play in the middle. We had our whole spine.
Yeah,
and Bronson, Sherry, and no one else. Everyone was all the guys that we rely on when it comes to go forward. Everybody that we rely on, we're just eating into our depth right now. And our depth, a lot of the players are still very, very young, so we didn't really expect to win. But we're first, right? And a lot of people have an issue where why do you change your winning formula? Now, a lot of people always love to point in our easy run. But I think a lot of teams have had an easy run, and all the top 8 teams now, as it currently stands, we've beaten, right? So it's things were still looking really good. But I think the club, and me personally, just watching my team and how the last couple of years have unfolded, I don't think Cameron Serrado has ever been a fan of Toby Sexton. He didn't play Toby. Toby came in, looked good, and then once he signed Drew Hutchison took over, and it was hell for that 9-10 weeks. But I think he just doesn't rate Toby, which is why he's put Drew Hutchison there. And he's had to play Toby because there was no one else. He had to drop Drew, but who are you going to drop him for? Toby. And Toby does he's done a really good job next to Matt, and I really like Toby. He's 23 years old. He's got a lot of football ahead of him, but I just never really saw us extending him. I would have liked to see us extend him, but again, when you're first, you probably have and you're the 7 of a team in first midway through the year. You probably have some bargaining power. He might be able to get more money than what the club thinks he's worth, or maybe they just don't see him as the future. And I just always felt like the team would either promote someone that's a young player. I always saw Carl Olawapu maybe stepping into that role, but obviously he's departed the club due to a really bad injury. But we've also got Bailey Hayward now, and I think the club really likes Bailey. And I just think if we didn't get Lachlan, Toby was still going to leave.
Yeah.
And then we're going to play Bailey Hayward at 7, at least until we've either got another 7 or we could have just extended Bailey after 26, right?
Yeah.
I always thought the plan was to phase out Toby Sexton in the long run. And this is happening now because as soon as a player that suits the timeline of the club came in or suited, like, I felt like if someone like Adam Reynolds became available, someone that suited the needs of the club, or someone like the need is for either an experienced 7 or a young player that has bags of talent that can grow with a very young team and then sort of start peaking when everyone else starts peaking at the same time, you know? And as soon as a player like Lachlan became available, they went for him because I know Gus loves Lockie. And
he never met with him, eh?
He never met with him. And again, with the Gus Gould thing, like a lot of people they're just acting dumb. Like they know that he can't actually say the truth because it impacts his job as a general manager. He says the truth on TV about his own team and what his team is planning on doing. He's doing something that no other GM is doing, bro. No one is out there saying, oh yeah, we're very, very interested in this player. They might give a little hint, but they don't straight out tell them everybody their plans. So Gus is just BSing because what do you want him to do? You know what I mean? Then you can make the argument that there's a conflict of interest and he shouldn't be on TV. That's fair enough. But Channel 9 will never boot him because anything Gus says is money in their pockets, bro.
Yeah.
They milk him for all his work,
and also the
bro.
controversy of this anyway is worth money to them. You know, there's been more eyes on 100% footy, or at least on the clips of it, than there's ever been.
Yeah.
You know, like, because people are fucking glued to their screens about all this shit.
This is the NRL soap opera, bro.
It is.
This Lachlan Galvin situation is just the peak of it all, man.
Yeah. And I feel like Tigers are always in these stories and always getting fucked in these stories. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is with our club. Like, I thought that would stop when Shane Richardson came, but...
No, it's only gotten worse.
Yeah, it has.
But I'm just stoked to have Lockie as our 7 because I like Toby, and if he was part of our future, I would have backed him.
Yeah.
But I always would have, like, if you looked at this team and you said, where's a weakness? A prop, 7 or 1, right? We've got a prop for next year. So now it's about that 7 or the 1 position. And I really wanted Jamal Fogarty. That was my guy that I think if we got him, that would have kicked us to the next level right away. But that wasn't to be. I don't think the club went for him. He went straight to Manly. I would have absolutely loved Jamal Fogarty. And I think he would have been the perfect type of 7 for this team. However, just because if you think about it, you go left to Matt Burton, he kicks, it's amazing. You go right to Jamal Fogarty and you just get 2 elite kickers in. And I like that idea, right? But then again, we don't need an elite kicker because we have Matt Burton. He's not the best short-range kicker in the world, but he's certainly gotten better. But long-range kicking is one of the best. And I think he's the best kick and 6 around. And he just brings so much value to the team. So you can afford to have a 7 that, because I think they're going to go Matt Burton 6 and Lachlan Galvin 7. You can afford to have a 7 that can't really kick well because you have a 6 that can kick well.
Yeah.
Right? Lockie's short kicking game is all right. I definitely see him kick a lot of balls dead, but he also, you know, his grub is pretty dangerous. If he can get like a bit of a high ball going and he can run the attack and play the Lachie Galvin way, I guess give him the ball, let him run the show, and Matt Burton's there to be that secondary half, which he has become with Toby Sexton. Toby Sexton's done the same thing, but it's not because Toby he's not a top level half. It sort of hurts our attack a lot when Toby takes control because we just can't really score inside around 20 a lot of the time unless it's on that left side. But outside of the 20, we're all good because you give them early ball and you get guys like Kickout running full speed, Krida running full speed, you know. It can really, the boys just make opportunities just off the talent and ability that they have. But when it comes to putting it on a platter for our good players, we really suck at that. That's why we suck inside around 20, right? So I think Lockie's going to really add some X factor to this team. And I feel like we just need a half that can always have his head up and play what's in front of him and play some unstructured football as well. And we just don't really have that when it comes to when we're very, very structured. That's why it's a pretty easy attack to run. But Lockie is just going to be able to have his eyes up. And I feel like the overall blueprint of this team and why they're making them changes when regarding Reid Marnie and the changes regarding Toby Sexton is we really want to play fast. We have an undersized team. We get on the front foot a lot, but then we have a hooker that doesn't want to run at a dummy half, and we have a 7 that can't really play fast. So the 2 players are this is the vision that I think the team has, and this is why we're moving these two players in particular. If you have to point to two players that slow the game down the most for us, it's Toby and Reed. So I feel like they're moving Reed to get a hooker that can play fast and run at a dummy half more. Reed is a great player. It's just he doesn't fit the team too well, the way the team's being built now. And Toby, I feel like they're moving him for Lockie because Lockie can play eyes up footy. And when we're on the front foot, Lockie's going to be able to convert that into points. I feel
100%.
like a lot more than Toby.
Well, look at every time Tigers have flown in the past 2 years. It hasn't been many times, but every time they've gone well, you look at the players who are really fucking pushing. Not only do you have your forwards really pushing forward and giving your halves space and your hooker space to have to run, but when they're flying, it's Apikoris out of dummy half. It's fucking Lachlan Galvin following, and then it's Buller finishing, and if you have that at the Dogs, like with the talent you have, we're already fucking running over teams, 100%, you'll fucking kill it for sure. Because one thing I will say about Lockie is that he is more often than not there when someone makes a break. He's there, to capitalize on that. And yeah, we've won many games from him playing exactly like that. So, and with like little mistakes and errors and stuff, that just rubs out with age. That's just an age thing, knowing when to take a tackle, not throw that extra pass, not throw that hospital ball, those sort of things. That all sort of just gets, you get that out of the game just with experience.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
I can understand why Dogs got him 100. I'm not questioning them at all. I think anyone's lucky to have Galvin. And I don't, I hope it goes well. But
he will, bro.
Yeah.
And he's got some elite players around him, bro. And so like a lot of people, they say he can't defend. Well, Toby couldn't defend until he got here, and then he's all of a sudden put with he's got Jacob Preston on his inside and Critter and Carraz on his outside. It's pretty easy to defend there, bro. Because you got guys giving you cover. You got guys giving you cover, bro. You know what I mean? And,
that's true.
And Lockie, he's a big boy, man, and he's gonna make rookie mistakes for sure. He's gonna keep making young player mistakes, but overall, in the long run, it's a no-brainer to go for someone like him.
Yeah.
On that price tag as well, I don't think 750 is too steep.
Nah.
Especially if he in 2-3 years does become a Premier half. You know what I mean? And then you've got a Premier half for 750 for a year or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Insane value.
And let's not forget, there's going to be a salary cap increase as well. So 750 is fucking cheap.
Yeah, and if you look at our whole spine, like Burden's on 750, Lockie's on 750, our hooker's on 650, but not for much longer. And you got Tracy, who's probably on 400, I reckon. Like, I don't know how much Tracy's on, but it can't be too much because he wasn't a regular first grader.
Yeah.
He only played because Will Kennedy got injured that year, and they all of a sudden got better, the Sharks. That's the way I saw it. So
Yeah.
I think the Dogs identified that, went for him, and Connor, he's been amazing, man. But I wouldn't be surprised if, if we go for a fullback as well. I'm sure a young fullback would become available. You have teams that
You just don't fucking take Buller, cunt.
No, I don't think it will be. I don't think it will be Dream, but I'm looking at like the Titans, bro. They have so many fullbacks, and they've just re-signed DeGroot, Kinney, like in the last couple of weeks, and AJ's on a long-term deal. You never know where someone like Jaden Campbell goes, and I don't think Jaden Campbell's in that position where he's a good young player, but I don't think he's in a position where he can command like super big money.
Yeah.
You never know, bro. You know what I mean? I would like to stick with Tracy because I think he's one of the most underrated players in the comp, but then again, if we decide to bring a player like that in, I don't think you can make any complaints. As good as Tracy's been, and as solid as he's been, he's still. I think he's a top 8 fullback in the NRL, but I think it's a lot of people wouldn't consider him that level. So you never know. The Dogs are not. They never finish, and because we have our. If you look at teams, right, like our salary cap, the way it's spread out, it's really fair. Like our highest paid player is Critter on 850. The only other player on 800 plus is Viliami Kikau.
Yeah.
And then next year we get Leo Thompson. None of our spine members make more than 750 a year. So
yeah.
And you look at other teams, you have Manly with 3 players on over $1 million.
100%. You've got a lot of teams paying, overs for a lot of people. Obviously Luai is. I would never fucking talk shit about Luai. I love Luai.
Yeah, what I, bro. I have in the past, but yeah, I sort of I recognize what he was trying to do. You know what I mean? He's won right? He's won 4 comps, bro, and he's going for a challenge. And I'm not gonna judge a bloke that took the hard road. You know what I mean? He might
and the
be
money's and the money's good, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like 1.2, like what he brings to the team, and like, man, they would have made that back in fucking merchandise sales this year already. Because I tell you what, I've seen way more fucking brand new like Tigers jerseys this year, and fair enough, it's a way better design than they've had probably the last fucking 6 years.
Facts.
But like it's players like Luai and that get fans to games, that get fans buying merch. And so I think like for 1.2 million, what he brings to the club, it's a bargain. That's what I think.
100%. I think then the way I see it is there's a big leadership and like off-field part to it, right? Like Joshy Reynolds came, like his footballing ability at the time with an injury history, you probably paid like 800K for him around that mark, right? To come to the Tigers, and a lot of that, I'd probably say 500K was for his on the field stuff and 300K was for the off the field stuff, right? He left the bloody club and we had James Graham, like tough as nails, mate, crying on Fox, bro, because he loved Josh that much and he didn't want him to go, right? Josh kept that group together. As soon as Josh left, everyone else started to leave. And Jerome, I feel like, has come in to help just make it a brotherhood, bro. And
they honestly already have, hey, like how I see the boys interact with each other compared to the last few seasons is fucking night and day. Like it's, obviously I'm not in the inner sanctum of the West Tigers, but just from what I see as a fan, you know, who stays around at the end of games and meets players and that, and just the camaraderie, and also things like Terrell May's vlog and things like that. You know, you're seeing a lot more of what goes on at the Tigers now. That's not a Fox Sports fucking Fox League documentary.
Yeah,
you know?
Oh, that was hilarious, mate. Tiger Town.
Tales of Tiger Town. The fucking oh god, if I wanted to put a bullet in my head already, that fucking nearly sent me, gun. But I think that's why it was so surprising to me with how the Galvin stuff played out, because I really thought everyone was getting along like super well, and it seemed to be, I think, everyone but him. That's how it felt. That's how I see it anyway. And just being at little events and stuff, and when someone's yelled out and made a comment about Galvin during this like time when there's been players talking that, sort of the vibe has been, you know, kind of not defensive of Galvin whatsoever. You know, it's been like laughing along with a joke or whatever it may be, you know. Like we have this thing, the ambush, where there's like a pre-game function. A group of people run it for the Tigers, and the clubs come on board now. So they send like a player who's like injured, or like a Reggie's player, or, you know, like this week on Sunday, we've got Fanua Pole coming in. But yeah, one was, we had Latu Fainu right after it was Easter Monday. So right after all these Galvin stuff's happened, right? We haven't even played yet. And Fainu's there with Skelton. And I think, what did they say? I think one fan question was, who's the most annoying player in the team? And someone yelled out, Galvin. They both laughed. And I'm thinking like, fuck, maybe it is like, I'm starting to believe like the media, you know, that I think it is everyone versus him in a way. And when it's like that in a club, you know, I can't really knock a guy for leaving, you know, if that's the case. But also he could have also brought that on himself by not buying in and things like that. I don't know. It just seemed like there was such a discrepancy between how the team was playing compared to how he felt about the team.
Yeah, and he's young, bro. Like, young people are just annoying, right?
Yeah.
Number two, it's like, if you're young and you're off something or off a place, and to be fair, it didn't seem like he wanted to be at the Tigers from the get-go.
Yeah.
Right? With all the stories coming out.
Well, there was
before he didn't even
releases
play the game, bro. Right?
Yeah.
But I felt bad because Benji was like the guy. I feel like nobody believed in him more than Benji, and he's sort of thrown Benji under the bus. And look, at that point, I think at that point, the Benji story would have already come out from Lockie's camp, you know, and I just felt like they would have all been off him, you know what I mean? And I think Lockie, if you don't want to be at a place and you're sort of forced to be there because of your own decision, right? But still, you sort of just naturally become off it, bro. If you don't see, and if you're young and you don't understand how relationships work and everything like that, and it's like, there's still a lot of development for Lachlan, both as a person and as a player, right? If you look at think back to when we were 18, 19, bro, I was a freaking idiot, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I feel like I'm a lot more mature, bro, and I understand things a lot more. And that's why I can sort of put myself in Lockie's shoes and see there's a lot of development left as a person, bro. And if you're a kid, sort of had everything you've wanted in life pretty much, and you like a player to be in the NRL that young, low key could be spoiled, bro. But I'm just saying, if you're in that position at a place you don't want to be, you'd be off it and you wouldn't even care about the relationships that you have at the Tigers because you don't see yourself being there for much longer, right? So you just, the care about the guys around you wouldn't be there. And I feel like I feel like when you look at this Dogs team, there's a lot of great character, a lot of great people like outside of the game, bro. Like how they are when the cameras are not on them. I feel like they're great people, man. And that's why there's something special about this group, bro. And I feel like there's a lot of things that that Coach Seraldo and Gus, they look at that isn't on the field. I think they really look at things off the field. It's why we sort of didn't end up getting guys like Terrell May and Fanul Blake, because there was maybe that fear that we pay big money for a player and they don't fit into the culture.
Yeah.
I feel like Seraldo and Gus, they get I always joke about this. Seraldo gets the ick like insanely faster than a lot of other coaches, and about things that a lot of coaches don't actually look at. And I feel like he looks at the off-field stuff more than the on-field stuff, or at least the same amount. And I feel like if the fact that he didn't get the ick from Lockie means he was either really desperate for a 7, or Lachlan has agreed that he's going to buy into the culture and not disrupt it. And he, as a man now, has picked his road, and his road is now at the Dogs. And I feel like he'll treat it differently than he's treating at the Tigers, where like treated the Tigers where he might have not seen his future after.
Yeah, well, I think Tigers were his only option then, and I think now that he's had choice, I think it's a bit different. But I think that doesn't excuse the fact that like you don't, go out and put out a fucking. I don't know. I just think there's obviously where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So I think, I take it, the media is a hard one because you don't know who they're actually speaking to, like who their fucking source is, because there's a lot of weird things that happen within that. But the fact is that they came out and they had a go at Benji's coaching, right? Ability, whatever. And I just think it's just a bit fucking rich from, to come out against Benj when look at what Benji's accomplished as a 6.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that's why Tigers fans have every right to be fucking fuming at Galvin and how it's been handled. And that's where I am. That's where I sit, is like I don't like how it's been handled. I don't like some things that have been said. But at the end of the day, a player, like without all that, take all that away, and a player is allowed to leave a club, right? He's
100%.
allowed to go wherever he wants. And if he genuinely thinks he can develop somewhere else better, go for it. Go, right? Because not only does that help him out, right? But it also helps us out as a team. Because it's like, well, fuck, now we have 17 boys who want to be there.
Yeah.
Not 16, and I think that's, thank God the early release came is all I can say. People saying, oh, you should have played him in reserve. Fucking mate, do you know what that does to a club if you keep a player who doesn't want to be there in reserve grade? He's got mates at the club.
Yeah.
He's got mates there. How do you think fucking Talon De Silva's going to start feeling? How do you think all like these boys that played with him are going to start feeling if you stick him in reserve grade and keep him there for fucking 2 years?
But and the problem that I have, right, is like there needs to be like an established trade system so that if
bring
a player,
in a trade window and it sorts out every fucking issue, literally.
Bro, big time, man. And I think these 2 years, like this November 1st for the year after, is an absolute the stupidest trend. Like we should just look at the NBA and what they do, because they do it the best. The trades, and the deadline comes like a few months before finals. So like the trade deadline could end round 18 after Origin, or whatever, and then you can't make any more trades. And we have the June 30 deadline, right? Similar. But the fact that all these players that they signed the contract, they all of a sudden want to release, means that the club gets done. And they often have to pay the player's contract for him to play somewhere else. Like, I don't understand how they can't find a solution to this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's the Rugby League Players Association being annoying or whatever, but and look, like I think that if in a perfect world, everyone's salaries are public, like in every other sport in the entire world. The only place that it's not public is Australian sport for some reason. Number 2, this release stuff should not happen. It should be you trade the player away for someone of equal value. Now, Lachlan Galvin doesn't have, his contract wasn't big, right? But you go and trade him for another young player that maybe doesn't fit the team or whatever. Like, but you get something in return. No, everyone's happy. No one's paying other people's contracts for them to play on another team. Like they're like, and all free agent signings should happen the year that they at the end of their contracts. Like your deal ends 26 and you want to sign somewhere else. You don't sign in 25, bro. You sign in 26. Your contract's over. You are now a free agent. Go somewhere else immediate.
Yeah.
Because signing elsewhere and then when you're still playing for another team disrupts the culture big time.
Yeah.
Because
your own fans turn on you. It's your players are like, well, fuck, you're not buying in. Are you even going to put in 100% on the field? For the remainder of your contract. It kind of brings up all those questions.
Big time.
But yeah, I think a big reason why they moved it, I guess, from a player's perspective, is to give a player enough time to organize his family to move, like if they're moving interstate or whatever it may be, to get somewhere to live in that. But like at the end of the day, these clubs are fucking multi-million-dollar franchises, right? Like their players are on a lot of money. If you can't organize a fucking place to stay, or at least your club can organize a place for you to live temporarily until you get yourself sorted, like that can all be arranged. I think there's so many ways around it. So I don't see that as really an excuse. Now I do want to talk about you. That's enough about fucking Galvin.
Shout out to Lockie.
Yeah. Good luck to him on Monday. It will be interesting to see.
I'm so keen, bro.
But good luck to the Dogs too, mate, because fucking I hate Parramatta. Everyone knows that. So
same here, bro.
But yeah, I think that's something Tigers and Dogs fans have in common, like big time, is our hatred of fucking Parramatta. So, but yeah. So when did you start filming content? How long ago was it? Was it a COVID thing?
Yeah, actually, right before it, I started live streaming. So it probably would have been like back end of 2019. I started live streaming, bro. But I was live streaming video games because that was like my passion at the time. And when you start live streaming from zero, it's very difficult, especially when you don't know what you're doing. And like, mate, it was the amount of learning that I had to do. But over that 2-year period from mid to late 2019 to 21, because I actually started doing NRL stuff middle of 2021. I was like streaming like League of Legends like exclusively for like a year and a half, and I wasn't seeing any growth. So I really started to like look inwards, see what I was doing wrong. Ended up moving to single player game streaming, started to build a bit of a community, because I'd probably say I averaged like 8 viewers on my league streams. When I started doing single player stuff, ended up moving to closer to 20. And then I did my first NRL stream because I wanted to watch Origin with the boys because last year we were in lockdown, like in 2020. So 2021, I wanted to watch it with the boys, and then Gladys put us in lockdown too. And I was like, nah, man, like fuck this bitch, bro. I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to find a way to watch footy with the boys. So I ended up searching if anyone was doing it, and there were multiple people streaming the NRL every week on Twitch and weren't getting in trouble. And I thought that people would get banned, but I think they weren't looking at it, and the NRL wasn't big enough on Twitch for them to even take notice of it. So I had never uploaded a TikTok before. I had never done anything besides streaming. I had never uploaded a video from like on YouTube. I did when I was a kid, right? But I still wish I kept them, but I shut down the account. I was embarrassed, you know what I mean? It was funny. Like, and if I go look back on my streams in 2019, I'd be embarrassed, right? Because they were very low quality.
Yeah, but I feel the same way about my early podcast, bro. It's hilarious.
Dude, but that's the learning, right? We get better and better. And all the other guys streaming the NRL, they hadn't had those learnings yet. They were very bare bones, but people were just watching them to get free footy. But I feel like people started watching me because of the entertainment value as well, and the production value. Everything looked good, everything sounded good. It was just a really fun experience. So I streamed State of Origin. I think it was game 2 or game 3, and I had a clip where Adokar just signed for the Dogs. So I was G'd up. He was still playing for Melbourne, but he hadn't joined us. And I was G'd up. He made a line break down the touchline and then passed inside to Tommy Turvin. I was going crazy, and then he got called back. And that was my first clip ever, and he got 50K in the first night.
Yeah,
and like,
were you Hectic Fred right from the beginning?
I was Hectic Fred, bro, from like year 12, from like year 6, bro.
So that's always been like your username.
It was my PSN, bro.
Yeah, man.
But it was like X Hectic Fred X, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when I was like 12, but it's always been your username. The other one is the Doom Raider. So not Toom. Toom is garlic sauce in Arabic. So the Toom Raider is like my PSN now. I ended up changing it. But pretty much everywhere else, it's Hectic Fred. And yeah, I put my first clip on TikTok and 50K people watched it in one night. And I didn't even think of the 2 years of streaming. And I was only consistent for about a year, or maybe just under a year at that point, like streaming on a schedule and everything like that, which is very important as a streamer. If you think about it like this, imagine you wanted to watch a show and you didn't know when it was going to be on. It's going to be pretty hard to watch, right? And once, you just keep chipping away at it, getting better and adding things and becoming more organized so that it's easier for people to watch you and it's easier for people to enjoy watching you. I had done those 2 years. And in those 2 years of streaming, consistent and not consistent, I don't even think 5,000 people collectively would have come into the stream, or 10,000 people collectively would have seen my head or come into the stream, right? And it was crazy for me to think that one video that took me like 5 minutes to edit got 50K in one night. And I just started, and we're in lockdown again, right? So I got nothing better to do. Every single game watching, every single game clips. And it just took over my life from then, bro. And it's the best thing that I ever did. And I always did envision myself becoming like a big figure, I guess, but never this quickly. It just happened so fast. But I'm so grateful, grateful to all the people around me, grateful to God, you know what I mean? I just feel absolutely blessed to be in this position. And I just try to keep the right mindset and keep working hard. And it's just been a wild ride, bro.
It has. I mean, you've taken off. Like it's really ticked over for you. I reckon in like the last probably 12 months. Hey, like it's just fucking. You've just gone from strength to strength. Obviously you've got a podcast as well. That you do. How long ago did you start that?
So League Lads, I didn't actually start it. So Sui, TK, Mems, and all the boys, they started it.
And then they got you on.
And after about a year, they got me on.
Right,
and I was probably about 9 months in. They wanted to. They had just one big show that they would record with all the sports that they wanted to talk about, and then they wanted to segment it. And for the NRL part of it, they wanted me to be a part of it. And I'd never met Sui until that point, and he reached out to me, and then he ended up living like 2 minutes away from me. And that's where we were recording out of his like outdoor area. And whenever it rained, we couldn't record, you know what I mean? But yeah, League Lads, we're in year 3 now. So 2.5 years. And it's just been an absolute blast, bro. And man, I remember like we were talking about this on the podcast last week. Like I remember when we used to get 200 views and be happy, or 150 views and be happy. And 300 was like, bro, that's the best video for the last 3 months. Like 300 views on one video is insane. And now we're like regularly getting 750, 800 plus, regularly getting 1,000 in like 1 or 2 days, which is just amazing. It's an amazing feeling to see the growth. And we were just on the stream, on the podcast last week, just like glazing everybody for all the support. You know what I mean? Because we've come a long way. Yeah. And it's pretty hard to make it in the YouTube game, bro. It requires a lot of dedication, especially in a podcast, in the podcast setting. It's very saturated now. But I'll never say it's oversaturated, because me personally, I feel like everybody's got, and that's not just podcasting. I think it's just content creation in general. Like I just feel like everyone's got a voice, and if they convey it the right way, they'll grow.
100%.
It's just, the problem with saturation is that period where you're going to be struggling to build that audience is going to be longer, because there's a lot of people trying to build the audience, but there's very few people that can withstand that and just keep making content.
100%. That's the point I was going to make. Guys, like if you're out there going, fuck, how am I ever going to just play the long game? Yeah. Play the long game, because most motherfuckers will give up well before you do if you have that drive. And that's how I've looked at it. This is my 5th year podcasting now. So I started during COVID lockdown. Not to do rugby league. Rugby league, I mean, I've always obviously been pretty vocal about being a Tigers fan on here. But in terms of making actual footy content regularly, it hasn't really been a thing until this year. Had Retro on at the start of the year. And our episode just went really well, like our reels and stuff, our TikToks like went really well. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to like tap more into the rugby league, space. And that sort of just really helped me, grow massively this year. So that's been a big thing. But what it originally started at is it was fuck you to the government for during COVID, because I was seeing getting banned on Facebook because I was getting 30-day bans all the time for writing like #scamdemic and shit like that. You know how we all felt during that time.
Yeah.
But then it's just, it's turned into something else now. And I just see it as like, if I'm interested in someone, if I think someone has a cool fucking story or like just someone that I'm interested to talk to, I'll have them on. And that's how it is now. So
yeah, and I'm the type where I love podcasts and I love meeting and speaking to new people, bro. Like I've never met you until today, right?
Yeah.
But friends for life, mate. That's the way I see it. Like I saw Falcon today, bro, and I've seen Falcon a couple of times, and it's like once I meet someone, bro, like this is why I sort of do these things, bro. Like the charity match, like podcasts, like getting my face out there and meeting new people. Like it's the best thing, bro. You can never know too many people, in my opinion. And there are so many great people, especially in the industry, like especially in the rugby league side of things, bro.
Oh,
they're just the best, man.
It's the best. I was talking to Flaxy about it. Like there's such a bond between like content creators, like NRL content creators, like, and how everyone just lifts each other up and follows each other. And like, it's funny, you'll go on there, like you'll follow that, someone will follow you that you haven't like seen before, and you'll follow them and you'll realize they also make content. And then you'll realize they're followed by like all the people that follow you. Like it's all just like this community. It's hectic. Like, there's a mad vibe, mad energy, especially like I saw it most at Magic Round where everyone was sort of together. And
bro, it's the best, man. Like, you saw it at the Caxton, bro. I saw, like, you know what I mean? And it's an amazing place, bro.
Yeah, it's the best.
And Magic Round is like my favorite event of the year, but everybody keeps telling me, and man, even Laurie Daly told me, like, because I got the opportunity to meet him for like not just like how are you, mate? Like, man, it's gotten to the point where I'm literally on a podcast show with Laurie Daly, like and Josh Reynolds and Willie Mason. Like, as a Dogs fan, bro, I'm like literally sitting next to my favorite player ever.
Yeah.
And like, I remember the first time I met him, I was like, I used to always buckle, and I still sort of do with the NRL players. So I feel like I'm a burden on them, you know what I mean? And then you just realize they're just regular blokes.
Yeah.
And they care about what you say, you know what I mean? So now I'm a lot more chill with them. But Laurie even said Las Vegas is a different level to Magic Round. It's just the best thing that the NRL have done in ages, and you don't know it until you go. So that's why as soon as the Dogs got announced, I'm like, let's go, man. Let's do it. I haven't been to the States in a while. I've got a lot of family there.
That's so sick.
Gives me a full reason to go for a few weeks, bro.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be mad. I can't wait till Tigers get announced. Hopefully with the team the year after, if Shane Richardson comes around to it. But how good to fucking travel over there and watch your team play in another country. Like, it's so sick.
It's a once in a lifetime thing, bro. Besides New Zealand.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. There's NZ, but that doesn't really count.
That's pretty much, they're like our little brothers,
bro. But yeah, that'll be mad. You'll have fun there. Yeah. Don't get in too much trouble.
Nah, man, I'm a good lad, bro. They'll actually let me into the country, no problems. I'll just have to go through it because my real name's Farid. So they're gonna be like, okay, Farid, yep, strip search, wand, bloody sniffer dogs, and then let me in the country, I reckon. But I'll definitely be randomly selected by customs, I reckon, bro.
Oh, 100%.
Maybe I just gotta shave the beard off, and they'll let me in.
Change your name. I do want to quickly talk about there's been a big signing for Tigers. I want to get your take on it too. Kai Pearce-Paul from Knights announced, he's coming to the Tigers next year. Do you think it's a good signing for the Tigers?
Man, I'm just gonna say, what was the last English back row you would have been Gareth Ellis, mate. So he turned out pretty good.
Yeah. Oh well, we had Bateman. But
Johnny Bateman. We don't speak.
We don't even forget about him.
What are we talking about here, man? He played for Canberra. Yeah, nah. The last good one.
The last good one.
Prime Bateman was pretty damn good, bro. Pretty homesick, But Kai Pearce-Paul is a really good player, and I feel like if there's one place you need to upgrade, it's your back row. And he will be a pretty handy replacement. Now, you look at his numbers and they don't pop at all, but I just feel like you get him playing next to some actual halves and he'll be really good. And I think that's a really good signing, bro. And they were talking at like $600K a year, and I feel like that's pretty fair because he's just got so much potential. You just look at the bloke.
Yeah, he's a big
The guy's a giant, bro. And you saw him the other day, man. Like as soon as that
And
second
agile
half
as
came,
fuck too. Like, yeah, footwork is crazy.
it's a good signing, man. It's a big no-brainer for you guys to go after him. And I think the talk was always that he's coming to the Tigers because it just makes sense.
Yeah.
He just slots right in there, and he'll do a good job, bro. And I feel like it's a big upgrade on the back rows that you have. Not that they're bad. It's just like you just need some more, bro. You know what I mean? You needed someone that has got a little bit of quality and bags of potential. Finer's got bags of potential as well. Seyfarth, look, obviously has the downsides. He gets sin bin like every second game. I swear. Has he been sin bin this year? Because last year he got sin bin like 3-4 times.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
But he brings rage, bro. And I love having players on the team with rage. And especially when they're a big bloke that always want to fight. Like our rage guy is Reid Marnie, and nobody's really scared of him. They're just annoyed by him. But that's why I really wanted Leo, or a big forward that's angry, right?
Yeah.
I don't really care about them. I didn't really care about the numbers of the prop that was coming. I just wanted somebody that was going to make this team intimidating. And Seyfarth definitely does that, I reckon.
Yeah.
But you just need somebody that has a bit of class, you know what I mean? And potential to become like a world beater in that position. And I think even though we have a super stacked back row in the NRL right now, there are so many good back rowers. I think Kyle Pearce-Paul could be among the top one day, bro.
Yeah.
So a good signing from the Tigers.
I agree. Fucking keen for next year. I'm keen to bring him over. Now we do sort of need to wrap up. I'll have you on again because I feel like we didn't get through not as much as I wanted to. But one of probably the biggest controversies of this year, which we will talk about, and I'm not talking about Flaxy being a Parramatta fan, but the biggest controversy is the Telstra ad that they play at all the fucking games. What are your thoughts? I mean, I think we all know. For those that don't know, we all know. But what are your thoughts on that Telstra ad?
Listen, you know what? You want to know the worst part of the Telstra ad? It's not that it has nothing to do with Telstra, not the whistling, the song. I didn't even realize the song he was whistling until the other day. And I realized, oh my goodness, he's whistling that song. Now I can't listen to that song anymore, right? But it's the frequency of this ad being played. Like it is every halftime, every single game at halftime and full time they play it. Magic Round, bloody 6-7 times. Like if they just played it less, it would be tolerable. But the fact that I have to hear this motherfucker whispering every 2 seconds, every halftime, like during Origin, I was hearing the guy whistling after goal kicks, bro. You know what I mean? Because there's no ads on KO until after the game. But when you're watching Channel 9 broadcast, you got to deal with ads during the game.
Yeah.
And during the game, mate, like if Queensland's winning and they kick a goal and I've got to deal with the Telstra ad, I'm going to punch my monitor.
100%.
Just give us a break, man. Just give us a break, please. I've had enough.
Yeah, how much is Telstra really paying, you know? Fucking hell. Must be
I'm
billions.
going to be paying them in fists, mate.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming in, brother. Fucking up the doggies, mate. I hope you continue to, keep rising this year. And I don't know if you knew, but what episode did I predict it in? Some episode this year. I predicted the doggies to the one with the fucking Lockie Pringle and that. I said dogs are my pick for the Prem this year. So.
Yeah, I think I had us like 7th, bro. I'm stoked the way we're playing, so I'm not complaining one bit.
Yeah.
Up the dogs, mate.
Up the dogs. You're welcome back anytime, brother. And remember, guys, today, if you're wondering what we're drinking Drink West. The best drink in the West, mate. So get amongst it.
Perfect name, mate.
Yeah, 100%. Up Western Sydney. And remember, guys, speak free. We MattyG.